You gonna bring us in? Pop it. Yeah, boy. What's crack-a-lackin'? How you
What's
doing, man?
happening, man? I'm
Talk to
good. I'm
me.
good.
You look like you had a rough day. Now, work was probably great. It was probably the last 2 hours you spent waiting on me.
Is it the lighting? What?
Could be the lighting. How's my lighting? We didn't even talk about that. I feel like I'm glowing. You're a
Let's talk
little
about
dull.
pet peeves. Timeliness is one of mine.
Wow, okay. See, I never knew that about you. Here I
You are glowing.
was.
You pregnant?
I got two lights on me right now. Woo-wee! I look
What's in
good.
the bottle?
I feel good. This big bottle, this is 750 milliliters. Just looks smaller in my
Is that a
hands.
2 liter?
And it's an old fashioned, man. Old fashioned. Knob
Hmm.
Creek by On the Rocks. Cocktails, little bottle, 35% alcohol.
On the Rocks is a good alcoholic beverage company name.
Absolutely. I would have never imagined that name would have been available. Like if I were talking to a business partner and I had this idea, cocktails in a little glass bottle. They're like, well, what are we going to call it? I was like, okay, well, let's roll out the things that are obviously taken. On the Rocks would have been at the very top of the list.
Maybe. And I don't know how, I think it's unique depending on what business you're getting into, but you can reach out to business owners and be like, hey, we're buying your name. How much? Like 100 grand? 200 grand?
You want to talk about a missed opportunity? You're looking at the guy who owns the rights to the domain name getter.com. Remember?
That's good. Yeah.
Yep. But were you familiar with Trump's social media platform, Getter? Gettr? I bet
No.
I bet they dropped the E, the second E, because they didn't want to buy the freaking domain name. How messed up is that?
When did you get the domain name?
Uh, Probably 3 years ago.
Maybe you should reach out.
Well, I don't even know if that app is still around. I think it was a bust.
I don't even know how to get a hold of Trump.
Oh, just
Get a hold of Stormy Daniels and she'll have his number.
shoot an email to that DA in New York and patch me through. Speaking of which,
He's back on Twitch. What's up with
should,
you, man?
should we go ahead and? Oh, not much, man. I'm just out here spouting propaganda.
Yeah.
Should we go ahead and introduce this new segment? Because Trump's on it. Trump's on it.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right,
do
people.
it. Spin me, daddy.
All right. Introducing the propeller of propaganda. Can you see it? How's it look? I shared it.
Oh, it looks good.
Oh,
It's centered.
snap. We're going in. Hopefully, this bad boy right here.
Spin.
Inmate
Just
Trump.
spin it.
I'm going to spin it. Oh, she's going. Where she stops, no one knows. Come on, baby. No. Oh, my God.
Oh, trans victim.
Trans victim. All right, I guess we're going there. Did you hear? Did you hear about the trans victim who was forced to shoot up the Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee? Oh, brother.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Bless his little heart.
Them, I think.
I don't think you're pronouncing right. So this was a trans man this was. I'm not going to say that.
And that means, so trans man means they identify as a man, but they're biologically a woman?
Correct. Okay. Absolutely. My question, she's gone.
Oh, we see 3 dots.
All right. We'll tell you what, we already spent it. I'm going to stop sharing this.
It identifies as high definition.
I heard someone bring this up in a podcast I was listening to earlier in the week. I'm curious if the trans man who committed that act of violence was on testosterone. That would be interesting to me, because testosterone is pretty well known, if I'm not mistaken, as being, the chemical inside our bodies that fuels a lot of male aggression. And I would love to know if the trans man who killed 3 elementary school kids and 3 adults at that school, I wonder if they were on testosterone.
So you're saying like testosterone replacement
Not,
therapy?
no, no. Testosterone replacement therapy is, to the best of my knowledge, pretty much reserved for older men whose testosterone has begun to begun to decline.
So
I
just
mean, just
taking
like,
testosterone.
yeah, just straight up. I don't know what's it called. Is it androgynous testosterone? Is that what they call it? I don't know.
I don't know if you can say that on the air, but
It look
yeah,
like
the
Andrew Huberman.
so you think in a court of law, like is this trans victim who
Mm-hmm.
shot up the school still
Yep.
alive?
Dead as fuck, bro. Did you see?
Okay.
So the
Damn it.
Nashville.
Can you imagine a trans cop kills him? Her,
Yep.
him,
I could
kills him.
imagine. Mm, probably was. I think all the
Trans on
cops.
trans violence. It's like this is
Don't quote me on this, but I think I read somewhere that all the cops
still
in
violence.
Nashville are trans.
I'll tell you what, we got some trans cops around here, whether they know it or not.
No, so the Nashville Police Department released the footage from the body cam of the different police officers who were maneuvering through the school, trying to pinpoint and then eventually, execute the trans man. And
Finish him.
it's pretty, I mean, they just shot a brother up. And I'm for it, hell yeah. Like, if that person needed to die. Like, I don't know if you saw the pictures of like the little boys and girls.
Before they shot up the school?
Well, I did see a
Or
picture of
after?
her. I did see a picture of her before she transitioned, and she looked like a totally normal, pretty, like, I don't want to say pretty actually, because she was probably in high school. Let's assume she was in college when this picture was taken. She was definitely 18, at least, bare minimum, super 18.
I think
Looked
you
like a
can
totally
say
normal girl.
underage things are pretty. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I bet you do, brother.
Yeah, you
Anyways.
would. Yeah.
Anyways, um, no, I watching that body cam footage. I don't recommend it. I mean, good job on the officers. Like, there was a lot of people online comparing the camera footage of the police in this Nashville school versus the police in that school shooting back in, I think it's Uvalde, Texas. And,
Mhm.
you probably heard about that. The police waited around outside for like, I don't know, was it like 14 minutes after arriving? Think about how many people you could kill with an assault rifle in 14 minutes in an elementary school. Bro,
Yeah.
with enough rounds in 14 minutes, I think I could kill everyone. And I shot marksmen one year at the range. Like, I'm pretty sure I could kill them all. Not that I'd want to, and not that I think you should. I guess it depends on the school. But a lot of people were comparing the footage from the two different events, and like, obviously, the police department in Nashville had an exponentially greater sense of urgency dealing with the situation, but still watching the police shoot this trans man, relatively point blank. It was from like across the room, but they lit him up, lit it up, and it's not fun. I don't like watching people get shot. Isn't that wild? Like, after all the brainwashing we experienced, it's like, I'm totally down to shoot somebody. I'd rather not see someone else do it.
How many rounds do you think you could carry on you effectively?
How many
In a combat zone if you were deployed and the Marine Corps wasn't a factor, like if you could choose how many rounds you got issued, how many do you think you could carry on you?
how many fit in a standard M4 magazine? Was it 24?
30.
30?
Yeah, 30.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
30 round mag. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Um
Someone doesn't play COD or Tarkov or any
30,
other fucking game.
60, 120.
So
180.
standard kit would be like what? You have four mag pouches, and you could do additional ones,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
You could do
thinking
additional
it
from Molly.
like 240 would be easy, and comfortable.
You
240
could move with
rounds.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just mounted on my chest. Like that's just four double mag pouches. That will
hmm
put you at 240, right? Yeah. 240 rounds.
So, and do you know in the Texas shooting, we don't know how many that person had on them, right? We don't know how many rounds they had on them,
I don't know.
or at least you and I don't know for
Yes.
sure.
You and
Okay.
I do not know.
Okay.
But
So
I'm sure
somebody
that
knows,
information's available.
yeah, how many casings were spent and then how many rounds they had on them.
This here's how
But
you
yeah,
know.
that's a lot of people. If it's semi-auto, you get one round per, like little bodies in a school. Yeah,
Dude, I
it's
could
terrible.
I mean this is all hypothetical, but man, I could headshot some kids. I mean, easy. They're
Well,
slow. Their
people in
heads are
fear too,
bigger than
right?
the rest of
People
their
in
body.
fear are
They're probably
easy to
all
hit.
in the fetal position. Yeah, bro. I could dome some toddlers, bro. Grapes.
Yeah,
Ooh.
in theory.
I don't recommend it. I believe the trans man in Nashville was rocking an assault rifle, a pistol, and a shotgun. Is that what AR stands for? Assault rifle? Because I've heard a lot of people
Yeah.
say that's not what it stands for. It stands for something else.
Well, a lot of people say BC doesn't stand for before Christ, but it's before current era.
Speaking of Christ, I go to Israel on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
wow.
excited.
I'm stoked. I don't know.
You got your passport.
Got my passport. Haven't done my
Got your taxes
taxes.
done.
Bro, my CPA is in my
You,
emails every few hours. Like, hey Bubba, how you
yeah.
doing? Can I help? I'm gonna email him my profit and loss statement and my balance sheet. I don't know,
It's,
eleven
it's
fifty eight
April
on
6th,
April 14th.
dude. I can't.
It's just taxes, bro. It's just the government. It's just
If there's
federal.
anybody listening that hasn't done your taxes, you should consider. No, I'm not going to say that. Do your taxes. Do your
Don't
taxes.
don't do it. You know what your taxes are going to?
That CPA, this is a true statement. That CPA that you have is
Hates
more
me.
likely to
Hates
shoot
me.
up a school than CPAs dealing with timely people.
I don't think there's a single CPA who
It's not
exclusively.
willing to shoot up a school.
I don't think there's a CPA that's exclusively working for timely people.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So, yeah, can't help. So, obviously, bro, dude, the president multiple times a day, and by the president, I mean your president, Joe Biden, father of world uh world famous degenerate Hunter
Sure.
Biden.
Sure.
Um,
Hog
it
Biden.
Yeah, Hog Biden. Once or twice a day is tweeting to like rile people up to ban assault rifles, and it's the left is so for it. How can you be? It's like
The left has always been for it, man. That's not new.
I know, but it's like uh, students all over the country this last week or two have been like just protesting, walking out of class in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, universities, just kids leaving school in mass, in protest. And the president's tweeting about it all day, every day. Everybody's what? How could you think it's a good idea to ban assault rifles. It's like the only reason why the Second Amendment exists is because governments have a history of becoming tyrannical, and the only thing that can protect citizens from their government is assault rifles.
I just watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas last night,
Word.
and there's a part that I never caught before. That towards the second half of the movie, there's a police convention, and Johnny Depp, all bent out of shape on meth, I don't know, whatever else, ether. He goes into it, and he overhears as he's walking in. The camera pans and overhears this cop, like demoing this nightstick, and he's like, and you can use this bad boy on those bastards at Kent State. It's fucking gold. I never caught that before, but I mean, I don't know, man. The thought process that goes into guns or ARs specifically should be illegal. I think it's something like, if we make it illegal to own them, then the availability towards those bell edge of the bell curve individuals won't be as high, and they won't be enabled, and there'll be less violence. I think it's something like that. Right. So that then I don't think there's a lot of room in that thought process for how will I defend myself should
Nuance.
someone get it. What's that?
I said, you said I don't think there's a lot of room in that thought process, and I said, you. I said for nuance. Yeah. Well, bro, this little
Yeah.
old fashioned. It's like a Mack truck. No, I get that. So I'm curious because I'm deep in Twitter these days. I literally have spent less than 3 hours on Twitter since the introduction of Twitter up until about a month ago. I've been on Twitter. I don't know if it's changed. I don't know if things are
How many
different.
hours are in a month?
I don't know how different Twitter is nowadays post Elon's purchasing and the reformation of Twitter as compared to how it was a year ago. But it's like, bruh, I'm Twittered up, dog. Twittered up. Dogs out. Twitter time. You on the tweeter? I know you're not.
I don't do Twitter, man. And I have the same reasoning as Jordan Peterson at 2022.
I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to mute my mic.
Yeah, because it's like, dude, the platform doesn't offer you when you're interacting with Twitter, you don't offer yourself a fair chance at expressing yourself honestly. That's what I think.
Because of the character limit, or because you're just not talking
So that's
in person?
one thing. That's one thing. But
well,
I think there's
long
also
form tweets now. So that's
okay. So yeah, so that's no longer relevant. But I think it's because there's zero
that's the Twitter
social
bird. That's the Twitter bird. Ew.
I think there's zero social consequence if you're not some kind of famous. Like I would be interested to see that graph where it's like fame versus consequence in Twitter. So it's like, if you're famous, if you're, let's say you're a shareholder for an IPO company, you're on the board or something, and you say something like, Twitter's tanking. Okay, well, we'll see you in a court of law. Like, because then you use that statement to adversely affect shares. You bought the shares, and then next week you say Twitter's going to kill it. I was just kidding. And now shares go up, right? So you can manipulate it. But if you're nobody, like most people are, if you say Twitter's tanking, your neighbor and your ex get on Twitter and they go, "You fucking moron. Elon just bought Twitter." No one cares. Like, fuck you. Like, get your car out of my driveway. And then like it starts this whole thing, right? So yeah, I think it only matters if you're famous on Twitter. And then there's no consequence if you're not. So that's why I don't use it. Like, I like consequences. Is that true? Yeah, I guess it has to be true. Oh, you're still muted. It's better this way, honestly.
What's up? I feel like you're being friends with me is proof that you like consequences. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that, brother.
That's actually the least favorite part of our friendship. Is the
No, the
consequences that I
consequences.
endure.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, some people are. Hey, some people are really squared away. They're really easy to coordinate things with, and they're fucking dorks. Some people live a little more loosely, and they're a freaking riot, baby. And I'm somewhere in the
It
middle.
takes both, right? You better land this on it takes both.
It takes two to make a thing go. I am, dog. I'm becoming a bit of a fan of Elon because of my recent indoctrination into the Twitter tribe. You know who else is on Twitter that I don't follow? But now that I'm
Trump.
nope, he's not on Twitter. He is not. He is yet to return to Twitter since he got banned.
Where'd you see that? Twitter?
Oh, I didn't think about that. You're right. How big can my eyes get? Oh wow, that's impressive. Anyways, he got banned after the January 6th thing, the insurrection. Anyways, and then I think he signed a deal with Truth Social or Truth whatever. It's another social media platform that I think came up after. I think someone built that company around the premise that Trump was banned from Twitter and he has millions and millions of loyal disciples. And I think they were just like, okay, well, if we just go ahead and launch this and invite Trump, then we'll get millions of users right off the bat. But I don't think I think he signed a deal with Truth. And as a result, even though Elon, I think, has given him permission to return, like all the people who were banned from Twitter before Elon bought it have been welcomed back to Twitter. And a lot of them have obviously returned. But I think Trump's in a deal with Truth Social. Like, kind of like the Joe Rogan Spotify thing. I felt like they were like, hey, we'll give you $100 million if you just do whatever you were doing on Twitter on Truth Social. And so anyways, what you see on Twitter is you see people who take Donald Trump's truths, I don't know what they call them on Truth Social, and then they screenshot it and they upload it onto
Surely
Twitter.
they're not called truths.
I don't know what they're called. If Donald Trump is involved, I doubt.
Every time you create a post, it's called a truth. Oh, say it ain't so.
Oh, I have no idea. Doc, should we? I'm probably glossing over something that you said that I need to play devil's advocate for or retaliate against, but should we just go ahead and give that prop another spin?
Let's do it.
I'm
Share
excited.
that screen, dog.
What are we gonna do if it lands on the same thing? You know, I can prevent that from happening by clicking.
Oh, we can keep talking.
Remove.
I say leave it.
No, maybe next time.
All right,
I'll leave
now
it.
your screen is not sharing, just so you know.
Oh shit. Okay, wait. I mean, shoot. Oh shoot. Speaking of which, excuse me. I was thinking about this. I think I'm leaning more towards. Is it really not sharing?
It is now.
Oh, I see it on my end. So tell me if it goes away, okay?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to smash that spin button. And while it's spinning, I don't know what's it going to land on. I think I'm leaning more towards toning back on the negative language. Ooh, China War. Yeah,
Fuck me,
boy.
brother.
Yeah, boy. We're going to war with China.
Toning back on the language, huh? What's up with that? Let's talk about that real quick. Interjection.
Wow, dude. I guess the war with China can just wait, huh? We got more important.
I know where I stand in comparison to spinners. I'm one step above spinners.
Easy, Alex Jones. You know what a spinner is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a really viral moment in a Joe Rogan episode where he had Alex Jones on, where Joe Rogan said something. He was like, or I think it may have been the one where it was Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, and Tim Dillon. And one of them were describing a very petite woman. We're like, yeah, she probably weighs 110 pounds soaking wet. And then Alex Jones just goes, oh, a spinner. Oh, that's bad.
That's bad because it's vulgar.
No,
Why?
I was thinking about now I will never we'll never get to this point as performers because I feel like the sort of audience we're going to attract, if any, is going to be degenerates. Yeah, I'm talking to you. But I was thinking about how nice is it that like I love the Rick and Bubba show back in Alabama. The morning country music radio talk show. Big fan of the Rick and Bubba show. How nice is it that like if I in whatever 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, if I'm taking my kid to school in the morning, I can turn on the Rick and Bubba show and I can listen to it while I'm going to school. To
And then
drop
you
my
can
kid off.
turn on our show on the way home.
As soon as you ditch that little retard, I'm just kidding. You shouldn't say retard. Your kids aren't retarded. My kids might be. Psych. I love you, kids. You're not born yet, but I love you. Daddy loves you. See, that kind of shit wouldn't fly. So I don't know. I was pontificating. I don't know what that word means, but I think maybe I don't
You
know.
need to tell your toddlers to expand their mind, man.
I might tone it back a little bit.
There's a
Yeah,
lot out there.
there's
Yeah, tone it back.
there's this
So
growing.
wait, no, hang.
We're going over
Yeah,
China,
tell me
bro.
more about growing movements here in a minute. Do I have to tone it back too? Because you
Yeah,
wouldn't
no.
want.
Well, no, you don't. I don't want to censor you, but here's what I think is the most logical way this pans out. Because you are, don't get me wrong, you're an individual. You have your own identity, your own ego, your own sense of self.
Thanks.
But
Yeah, thank you.
at
Yep.
best, you're just a shadow of what I am. So I feel like, if I tone it back a little bit, you'll probably go PG-13. So you just do you. You keep doing you, and we'll see what happens. But I am a betting man. If I had to bet, I'd say if I go rated R, you're gonna go rated PG-13. Right now, we might be. I wouldn't say we're triple X. We're probably at least 1X. That's an X.
So, okay, fuck that. But
Fuck that butt.
fuck that but. Two T's. Now listen. There's okay, so the rating system, right? For this is I think this is a good topic of discussion. The rating system for movies, video games, songs, right, that have that explicit warning content logo,
Fuck you, Tipper Gore.
right? That has at its criteria a set of standards based against language, nudity, drug content, and violence. Right? Yeah, do it. Show your yeah. If you identify as a female for the next 10 minutes and do that again, we're gonna be on
We might be on fucking Nashville local news.
but do you see what I'm saying? Do you get my point? So
Yeah, totally.
so that's the criteria. Now, when you say things like retard,
I would never say that.
right, that is now you've left the criteria of an official rating organization, and you've gone into a politically correct or socially correct rating scheme. And there, I don't think you can ever be right. I don't think, unless you absolutely appease the current socially correct rating scheme, you can never be correct. So you'll always be a little bit wrong. And then Why not go big or go home? Why be a little bit wrong?
Okay, Hitler.
Okay, Hitler. Did Hitler do anything wrong?
And
That's
the
a
people,
question I want to ask ChatGPT. It's not something I wonder. I know he did something wrong, but
the good people of South Park are wondering, Sieg Heil!
oh, mein Führer. Back to you, Tim.
Here's what I'm thinking.
That episode is gold. I get what you're saying. I get it, but I'm just like, so if your kids were to listen to this, if my kids were to listen to this, right? I would want them to be inherently aware of the differentiation of the rating systems when you're taking in content. So it's like, okay, is this politically correct? No. Is there ill will? Is there malintent behind it? No. Like,
Yes.
you and I know where we stand. Like, we're not going to go shoot up a school. We're not like, if in fact we were present at someone that was taking part in that, you and I would do everything we could to stop that, to risk our lives, whether your kids are in there or not. Right? That would be the response. So
100%.
so it's you have to right. So you have to take things with a grain of salt when you hear them, because it's like, okay, we can joke about anything, but does that mean that's how we feel? No. Let's talk about the war in China.
We're going to war, beaches.
Who wins?
China. All right, so hear me out. And I don't want to do this because I know the only two people in the world that are going to hear this are going to be
Chinese people.
They're going to be fucking dorks that you play Tarkov with. But why don't we leave it to the listeners? All right? Should Marcus and Josh replace the word bitches with beaches going forward? Or should we, hang out? Dogs out. I'm talking to you,
now,
Ginger.
Let me ask you this.
I'm talking to you, Ginger, and whoever the hell else is that one other nerd
that listens to this. Okay, listen. Okay, this is why I'm against that. It's the same thing with Mother Trucker.
Yeah,
right? This is why I'm against it. Listen, stop. Calm yourself. This is why. You're going to forget to unmute. For someone to hear the word Mother Trucker in their mind, they have to know the reference motherfucker, and then they have to do the math. I'm not about making other people work harder than they need to. It's like, what you meant to say was motherfucker. Like, motherfucker, what are you doing? Like, you didn't mean Mother Trucker.
Are you calling our two listeners, aka your dorky friends from Tarkov, bad at math? Because that's what it sounds like.
One of them, yeah.
Ginger.
But do you get my point?
Who's the other one? I want to call him out by name. There's Ginger. And don't make me get on our YouTube channel.
Okay. I won't do it.
Motherfucker. Mother Trucker.
See, but isn't that I don't understand that. Like, what you meant, it's like what you wanted to say was motherfucker. But what you had to say was Mother Trucker. Don't do that. Don't have to say anything.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we have one more subscriber on YouTube. We're up to 13, bitches. Woo! All right. I'm going to find this motherfucker.
Beaches.
Beaches.
That's like, why don't you start saying frickin'?
Beach, please. I freaking might. Dog. Now, hear me out.
All right.
Here's my question. Imagine one day there's a retarded miniature version of you. AKA a kid.
Miniature version of me.
Unrelatable because I have a kid. She's 5. She's not retarded and she's nothing like me. She's way better. But imagine one day you're with this little idiot.
I can see 3 women being pissed at that statement.
So you're with this little dummy of yours. There's nothing like my daughter. I don't know. 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. And during that time, you're forced to listen to fucking garbage. That's PG. Not even PG-13, just PG, just Papa Golf.
No, 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 no.
Cause
Okay.
your
The only
kid,
reason.
you gonna be listening to Slim Shady in front of your little idiot? Be honest with me. I'm gonna hold you accountable
Okay,
to
so
this too.
I'm gonna take little idiot in an endearing way. Um, so
We
I'm not
already
sure
know
yet,
your
man.
future kid
I'm
is
not sure
stupid.
yet. I'm not sure because
I'm sure.
okay. First of all, let me take this time to say fuck you.
What's up? Yeah,
Um,
fuck your dumb little kid.
yeah, fuck me, huh?
Oh, you wanna fuck
Okay,
me? Fuck
but
you.
fuck you, Tony. No, but look. So I don't know where I stand on this yet because there's a time to expose children to certain things, right?
Yeah, and I'm telling you,
So
it's when they're about 10. You're gonna go 10 years. You're gonna go 10
I didn't even
fucking
say what
years.
the things were.
You're gonna go 10 years. Yeah, it's anal. Okay, you go 10
Okay.
years without listening to anything interesting. I'm gonna
Anything
find him.
interesting. See,
I'm
even
gonna
when you're joking, it comes out.
I'm gonna find this other fucking nerd that follows us on YouTube.
Yeah, they'll probably fuck you up. They're probably better at technology than you are if they play Tarkov. You
Definitely.
have to be just to get through the
I think I have to go
updates.
to the YouTube
Look,
Studio app.
I'm not sure where I stand on it because it's like I don't want to lie to my child about the things that I think. Now, do I think there's certain times where you can be more articulate by not swearing? Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. And I think there's a certain setting for that. And I think that um, with that, on the far end of the spectrum, is the idea of holding things sacred. Like sacred things should not be messed with. Now, is me and my buddy bullshitting on a podcast for entertainment and chuckles in context of life that we live in? Is that the setting to not swear? I would say no. I would say no because the life that we live in has people that are veterans. It has people that work on Wall Street. It has people that believe in XYZ. Like it's I would say no.
I'm not your buddy guy. Did you
Can we
see?
listen to Eminem on this podcast?
No, we can't. Did you see Don't Ginger Me on YouTube? Wonder who that is. Ginger, you fucking dork. Hey, is Ginger the same guy that I played Call of Duty with you a couple years ago?
Yeah,
It's,
that's him.
that's him? There's a
Yeah.
older guy, kind of
He's a team
retarded.
player, right? He's not. Glasses.
Hey, Ginger, my boy. So here,
Ginger would fuck you up, man.
dude,
He would. He's like 6'3".
I don't give a fuck, dog. You think I never fucking strangled someone 6'3" before? I strangled my 6'3" little general all the time. 6 inches, 6.3 inches. That's
Sure.
yeah. Anyways, I'm honing in on Ginger this episode because Ginger, my boy, left us our first comment on YouTube that wasn't by me. Because Lord knows I'd be in there commenting on some shadow accounts to try to fuck up that algorithm. Anyways,
I was going to say I could script some shadow accounts for us, but what did he say?
we were talking about, or when I was talking about me being a saint and giving some water bottles to those retarded homeless people downtown, he commented, "I'd throw $20 at the homeless in LA before I threw $10 in Mexico." So, listen, dog, that might be
Joke's
a little.
on you. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's basically the same thing. You go into any restaurant in Los Angeles, you know what you're going to find in the kitchen? I'm not even going to say it.
I threw 20 at the homeless in LA before.
Yo, listen,
that's
Ginger,
funny.
I'm all for it. Let's take care of the old USA before we start taking care of the rest of the world, because what we do, I'm going to tell you what we do. We go into these countries that don't know any better. We put on a big smile as a nation and we say, "Hey, brother, I'm here to help you out." Then we assassinate.
You got any oil or hash?
Then we fund rebel coups and assassinate regimes. And we topple these countries, brother. Why we haven't done that in Mexico yet, I don't quite No.
I don't think the resources are great. And to be honest, I think we're late game. I think we're late game. We don't ask anymore, do you have oil or hash or like poppy seeds? We fucking know which countries have oil and poppy. Like,
Labor,
we
bro.
don't ask anymore. It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, we've got a very clear strategy
Labor.
progress towards endgame here.
As of right now, 2023, first quarter. Is it the first quarter? Second quarter, beginning,
Second quarter.
first month of the second quarter. I think labor in Mexico is about a third of what labor costs in China. So they may not have the oil or the hashish, but they got the labor. And I don't know. I want to say I don't know why we're not like toppling regimes in Mexico, but it's almost certainly because there are no regimes in Mexico.
There's no regimes in Mexico.
I'm pretty confident that the CIA is actually doing everything in its power to manipulate the cartels down there. So I'm just going to retract that previous statement and say, hey, CIA, FBI, DEA, NSA, whatever you're doing in Mexico, keep it up, because they are not thriving and we are. And if there's nothing I love more in this world, there's nothing I love more in this world than when Americans prosper on the backs of hard labor provided by the citizens of other countries. I don't mean that. That was a joke. Mexico would be way better off if they were like, hey, big brother.
Next week it's going to be me on the podcast with a Mexican flag instead of you.
Oh man, those
Can you imagine though? Can you imagine if instead of Mexico being the way it was an extremely prosperous export heavy country? Can you imagine that? Where it's like say it was China or it was Ukraine or Russia or so, I don't think Russia's super heavy in exports, but
it is.
Can you imagine if it is, but you get what I'm saying? Reformat the question to make it make sense to you and then answer my question.
Here's what you're asking. Could you imagine if Mexico was a prosperous first world country? And the answer
imagine
is,
if we didn't have to build a wall, but they did.
Imagine if they were just
That's what I'm asking.
Imagine if they were just like, we can't produce enough fentanyl to satisfy these Americans. They're rushing our border. Joke's on you. China's actually producing the fentanyl. Mexico is just smuggling it across the border. Oh,
are we going to war with China? Be honest.
Hell no. So here's the thing. Real briefly on Mexico. I think the role in the American economy that China has played over the last 15 to 20 years, and what I mean by that is like the economic pattern of American companies sourcing the labor out to China because labor is so much more affordable there. Yes, slave labor. Slave labor is always more affordable than paid labor. Anyways, I think Russia is about to step in, or not Russia, Mexico is about to step into that role and give China the boot. And I think so. America is 100% responsible for China becoming the world superpower that it is today. You go back to 1970, you know what China was? A billion villages. No electricity, no plumbing, just a billion little villages. And America came in, we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
So that's
Uncle Sam.
I understand Alabama's got you by the balls, but that's metaphorically true. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, China has gotten a little bit too big for its britches. And until the day that they assassinate me, I will continue to get on here and spew anti-China propaganda and say they kind of become a little bratty. I think we have spoiled them rotten, and now all of a sudden they want to partner up with Russia and Brazil and India and South Africa, and they want to try to manipulate deals with Saudi Arabia to displace the US dollar for oil transactions and replace it with the yuan, which isn't even the name of their dollar. Supposedly, it's just a unit of measurement of currency. Anyways, fuck you, China. And fuck America too, dog. Our country's fucked. But all I'm trying to say, I think most of the American
You're in a
labor.
corner.
I'm in a corner, baby. I'm in the corner, and
Fuck everybody who's not in my corner.
I'm diving and weaving.
Fuck you if you're in my corner.
Here comes the uppercut. I think most of the American labor that we're currently dispatching to China over the course of the next 2 decades is going to be dispatched to Mexico because labor's cheaper there right now. If, and this is a big if, ooh, gosh, double burped up, dogs out. If the cartels are willing to play nicely, if they're willing to play nicely, it's going to benefit them and us, and it's going to be at the detriment of China. I think that's a win-win, fuck you China situation, and I'm all for it. Now,
I don't know if I agree with that, but I hear you.
Yeah, you don't agree with that because you're a fucking idiot. You play Tarkov all day. So, anyways, moving on. Yo, if you're listening to this and your name's John and you work at HL7, Josh talks mad shit. I'm hiring. HL7 stands for Hello, Little Seven. Anyways, we're going to war with China.
I do not talk mad shit.
Wait,
I
which
have
one's
formally
John?
Submitted. Don't get me started on John.
John's a
I
pussy.
formally
said
submitted
it, not him.
my complaints, and he knows how I feel. So
I'll fuck you up, John, if I
I'm
ever see you in the
insulated.
streets. I'll fuck you up. Anyways, so 60 Minutes recently released a program that I assume was roughly 60 minutes long, sort of diving into the nitty gritty of what war with China might look like. There's a whole lot of propaganda, floating around in the ether right now that seems like it might be trying to prepare the average American citizen, aka a dullard and a idiot, for a potential war with China. All of this seems to sort of follow a recent sort of agreement between China and Russia in the last couple of weeks. And man, I gotta tell you, I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what I think, man? So I've got this pulled up, the 60 Minutes war with China thing. My first response is to roll my eyes because now I don't know. I don't have a view of the largest possible social platform in which there's effective access from propaganda like CNN or 60 Minutes or whoever. I don't have that view. And I don't know how that actually affects the listeners in that on that scale.
Because you're not on Twitter.
Because I'm not on Twitter, right? But I think a majority of radical ideas that are presented on social media are clickbait. I think it's viewership. And so it's very difficult. I'm not saying I have a solid answer for this, but I think it's very difficult to tell which content is propaganda for future use positively and the content that is propaganda for future use negatively. So like, we're going to war with China, but we're really not, and we want you to start getting prepared because of that game. And then the last category is like, which stuff is just to get views from a safe world that's functioning haphazardly as the world has always functioned. It's not clear to me how to differentiate those things, because if you look at a lot of trending YouTube videos, right, and it's a different algorithm, different thing, but the motivation could be similar. Unbelievable. This game looks real. How is this a game? But it's fucking Tarkov 8.6 4 years ago. So you click on the video, you watch it, and they got their view, they got the click, but it's bullshit. It doesn't look real. They doctored it's clickbait. So that's how I feel. It's eye rolling. I don't think it's anything to be too concerned about, to be honest. Go ahead. Let's hear it. You're muted, which obviously makes your reputation weaker.
Ah! So, anyways, as I was saying, you're a fucking idiot. I agree with you 100%. Here's my question. What you said makes perfect sense. This is my question following that statement. Are you ready for it?
Don't give me a reach around. Just tell me what it is.
Can you entertain these dullards while I go take a piss, or should we smash that fucking end button and then change shirts so it looks like a brand new episode and then
50
pick up where
minutes.
we left off?
Join me. Join me. Fuck you, China. Fuck you, China. Fuck you, China.
I don't think China did anything wrong. If anyone should be condemned for their sins, it's the listeners of this podcast. Look, I'm that guy from X-Men. What do you want to do? You want to talk shit for the next 30 seconds, or you want to smash that gay
Nah.
button?
Gay button out.